The first Titanfall saw us teaming up online to fight in a space war between the IMC and the militia, with the help of huge artificially intelligent exoskeletons called Titans. And we really liked it, even though we did suffer from burnout and moved on pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it was a unique and fun multiplayer shooter, but I can't say I was that excited about a sequel. I just felt like it sort of did its dash and didn't really need to revisit it. That is, until I discovered that it has a single-player campaign, and it's awesome.
I saw them being loaded on you, something.
You play rifleman Jack Cooper, who is in the process of undergoing his Titan pilot training via simulation when the war with the IMC arrives on your doorstep and you're thrown into the action.
Are we near the drop zone?
All too quickly, Jack's superior dies in battle, leaving his Titan no choice but to assign him as the new pilot.
Pilot, we must establish a neural link in order to proceed. Please embark when ready.
But Hex, Jack's just a rookie. He's not ready.
He's gonna have to get ready, Barger, because war waits for no one.
With that, you're teamed up with BT-7274. Primary objective, uphold the mission.
Got a friendly Vanguard class Titan. That BT?
Oh, and what a team! As you begin pushing your way through armed forces and ploughing through battlefields in an attempt to rendezvous with your squad, you and BT have to work together. Well, sometimes together.
Pilot control initiated.
And sometimes apart.
Trust me.
You form an instant bond with your mechanical war machine thanks to some wonderful writing and glorious AI humor.
What a hot streak.
Your vitals do not indicate a temperature problem.
It's just an expression, BT. It means I've been killing a lot of enemies quickly.
Understood. I have had numerous hot streaks within the past 38 standard hours.
He's just so wonderful, Hex. I wish he was real.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how little it takes for us to get emotionally invested in an AI companion. I mean, just give it a hint of personality and damn it if we won't be best friends forever.
You've already lost this fight, militia. You're just too stupid to know.
The action is really well broken up between time spent in the Titan and time spent on foot. Just when you feel like you're ready for something different, the action will shift.
Pilot, I cannot free myself. Cooper.
Gunplay on the ground is exciting and plentiful, and I really enjoyed this combat, Hex. It just feels solid and tight, you know? You can sense this developer's experience with every shot, just the way that the bullets impact your enemies and the way they ragdoll. I also like the little touches like when you're crawling along the ground, the gun is kind of held at a different angle, you know, which makes sense, you know, because you can't crawl like this. You do it like that.
Yeah.
Just nice little touches. And there's a good range of difficulty options to choose from too that can be switched on the fly. The AI is a little forgiving on normal difficulty though, so as a baseline you probably want to start this on hard.
There's a bounty of weapons to choose from as well, isn't there? I was spoiled for choice when it came to guns, which is nice because then you never have to stick with the same gun for too long unless you really love it. And when you're in the Titan, there are entire weapon loadouts to collect and jump between that allow you to experiment with combinations of attack and defensive abilities. Particularly useful in boss fights or taking on multiple other Titans.
Flight core ready.
Of course, so soon, pilot. You scare too easily.
One of Titanfall's coolest features was the wall running mechanic, and it's been finessed for this sequel.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get the hang of it. It's the same button to jump, double jump, and wall run, so getting the timing right can be confusing if you overthink it and press buttons when you shouldn't. But once it clicks, it's pretty unreal.
Yeah, and it's not like wall running is a revolutionary concept, but it's just been implemented so well and incorporated beautifully into the level design.
Yeah, exactly, and it's that level design that is the real hero of this sequel, I think. I mean, we've played countless space shooters since the dawn of Halo, and it can often feel like we're playing the same game over and over. But Respawn have worked hard to create an environment that feels not only fresh, but innovative.
Well done, pilot.
Yeah, I like that factory sequence with all the moving platforms, so good. Trying to focus on gunplay amidst huge moving parts and trying not to get crushed. Certainly a good way to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, and the spaces felt so huge and open. This isn't a corridor shooter. You'll often find yourself navigating your own path. Although some of the climbing, wall-running puzzles felt a little awkward and unintuitive.
I don't think so. I think it's just a bit unconventional. And I liked that you had to go against your instincts a bit in order to navigate those sections.
Well, probably my favourite level was the one where you get caught up in a kind of time shift as the world starts to jump between the past and the present. Eventually you get your hands on a device that allows you to control this, and it transforms the experience.
That was nuts, especially when you need to start switching time dimensions to navigate all those platforming sections. They incorporated the mechanics so well.
It was a fun mechanic too, because you could time shift and then just appear behind an enemy, which is hilarious.
Yes, but with soldiers in one dimension and lizard monsters in another, you quickly lose track of what's where, and it becomes quite stressful.
Nice variety in the environments too. I have to say I groaned audibly when I was told I'd need to repair a beacon, because there's always a bloody beacon. But that whole sequence ended up being yet another environmental departure from the previous levels, so it felt fresh.
In the end, I think it's fair to say that the narrative isn't actually that interesting, but just that level design is so good, it keeps pulling you through. For a franchise that began its life without a single-player campaign, this sequel has really delivered. They did it, Hex, they did it!
Yeah, I was really surprised. Not to mention that a game that is essentially about robot wars in space made me cry a little bit. I mean, so often in these kinds of games I find it so hard to care about anyone, and yet here I was blubbering over a giant robot.
Wait a minute. Lastimosa linked you to a rifleman?
Yes, he had no other options.
Understood. We'll get you transferred to a fully qualified pilot.
Objection. Cooper is my pilot.
I love you, BT.
Well, let's move on to the multiplayer, and straight away you get the impression they're trying to combat that burnout and fatigue that the first game had. There's heaps to unlock and customize with your pilot, and a variety of Titans that all have their own play styles and special abilities. And this variety makes all the difference to this pilot versus Titan tug-of-war kind of combat. It's well-balanced chaos.
Indeed. And it's well designed, I think, to make sure that when you're on the ground as a pilot, you not only have decent anti-Titan weaponry at your disposal, but lots of little trenches and caves to hide in.
Not a lot of places to hide when you're in a giant mech suit, though, is there? But the glory of raining terror on the battlefield below when you're suited up is pretty great. There's a number of different tactical abilities to choose from and weapon loadouts to customize. And it does take a bit of time to work out what suits your playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, the grapple seems like a cool idea, but it didn't help me much. I found I got much better use out of the stim ability, which gives you a faster sprint, dash, and just more HP.
I really liked the cloak. It was all about the cloak for me, actually, because you die so quick in these encounters, kind of like Call of Duty encounters, you know? So just being able to sneak around behind someone and go blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, one thing we commended the last game for as well is that no matter how you play, everyone gets a go in a Titan at some point during the match. And I like that.
Yeah, it keeps the action on the battlefield exciting. Lots of mechs about, doing their thing. Whether you're playing Attrition, one of the most popular modes where the map is flooded with AI opponents, or Amped Hardpoint, a pretty standard capture the point mode.
A captured.
But for me, the standout was actually Last Titan Standing, just because it's a whole bunch of mechs fighting it out. Mech on mech action.
I find it so hard to bail out of my Titan when it's about to explode, though. I'm just there, like cannons blazing until the end. And, you know, the captain should go down with the ship.
Or maybe just stay alive and keep shooting the enemy.
Yeah, maybe. I also thought the map design was really great. Nice variety, pretty sunsets.
Okay, pilots, let's get this job done.
Also, some of the maps feel huge, but also really dense at the same time. And it's such a good looking game, both in single player and multiplayer. It's just so crisp and smooth. The game uses something called dynamic resolution scaling, which keeps that frame rate at 60 or near it most of the time. And it's just so nice to see a console game that looks this good running at that kind of frame rate.
Another thing we should mention is that all Titanfall's multiplayer modes and maps post-launch will be free. There's no season pass or additional spend, which is really nice. What did you think all up?
This is good sci-fi. It's good robot-on-robot action, and time will tell whether the multiplayer has that lasting appeal that we really want from it, but they've done such a good job at making a sequel that trumps the original game, I think. So I'm giving it 4 stars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't tend to spend a lot of time in these kind of multiplayer online shooters, but I honestly thought this was worth it for the campaign alone. I devoured that. And there was even a little bit of post-credits goodness that got me excited for a possible Titanfall 3, which is always a good sign. Well done, Respawn. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5.
BT!
Got you.